Hey everyone, today's video is about boyfriends, ex-boyfriends actually, and I'm drawing them as monsters and stuff, so let's get into this. Oh, also, names have been changed to protect the not-so-innocent. The first one is Cody. We met because of a friend. He played music, something in middle school, an oboe, something. He was my first kiss, and yeah, we broke up because his friends said I was fat, and it was true, but we weren't exactly in love. He was boring. That's why he's a human. Sorry, that one's kind of dull. The next one is Chet. He was from England. We met on a Cabot website called the Cabot Patch, I think. Like a Cabot farm where people could be humans or Cabots and people could adopt the Cabots. It was silly. I was into Shinchi Muyo. So he kind of introduced me into BDSM and a lot of stuff I was probably too young for. We were both in high school. He kind of messed me up mentally that way. That's a whole nother story. I don't want to get into that right now. But he was 100% online, and I also believe he might have been a she because I talked to his sister a lot and once on the phone, which was a big deal back then, but I'd never talked to him. And I just thought about this lately. It's kind of funny in a sad way. We broke up because, I don't know, he started to get a little mean. So maybe like the sister was getting upset and wanted to end it. I don't know. Good riddance. So I drew him as a vampire, and the shadow behind him is sort of the sister, because while I don't believe she was malicious in it, I kind of have reason to believe that it was her now. Makes me a little upset, but yeah, it's just one of those things that I just kind of have to deal with and made me a better person for it. And the little sticky note at the bottom of the shoe is like, you, because it's kind of how he was, especially at the end. He didn't care about anything, especially not me by the end of it. He looks a little more R-rated than I meant to, but I like how this one turned out. After Chet, I kind of went through school like normal, high school. Then I found a cool friend, and this cool friend turned into my best friend, and then I met her boyfriend. And it's exactly what you're thinking. Cue my intro into being a horrible person. I stole Dante from my best friend at the time. They were in the same town, and I was long distance, still in the state, but it was pretty brutal. Not to mention he was 8 years older than me, and I was still in high school. It was bad. Dante and I were happy together, though. He was kind of my villain. I really loved being with him, despite how we got together, and we had this dark humor that he helped me develop, and most of all, he made me a Metallica fan, which is something I will never forget. My parents hated him for obvious reasons. We broke up because of my parents, essentially. We tried to get together once before, and I was still rather young, and my mom figured out, so we just kind of ended it there. He's the only one that I actually don't regret. He was just a really nice guy that circumstances kind of failed us. This one's kind of sad, sorry. That's kind of why... It's kind of why he's an angel. I mean, gag, but that's kind of the way I see him. It's just kind of a sad little angel. And I did the whole edgy two-wing thing because he used to roleplay Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII online. Yeah, I mean, it was... it was high school for me. Everything was cringy back then. Shut up. And, yeah, I honestly just love that he showed me Metallica, because I'm a huge Metallica fan now. So, thank you, Dante. And then we have Doug, military dude. I was semi-used to this because my dad being in the Air Force. Thought it was cool. We met online, and then it spilled over into real life. He was actually pretty fun. He was awesome, into video games, tabletop games, really good friend. Obviously he was my boyfriend though. He was a little full of himself. I didn't like how judgy he was, how negative he was. He took me to my first anime convention though. Actually it was me, him, and his friend from the military. And he left me alone to be with his friend. Not like that, but I ended up making friends with myself that day, I guess. I had a great time. I was still sad, obviously, but I think he was actually just confused and really into guys. I'm not saying that to be mean, not saying that to be the, jealous ex, or I don't know what the hell. But later on, I heard that Doug was actually pursuing another guy who was married to another guy. So, like, there was no chance. He couldn't get in there, but he still tried. And he actually apparently went crazy. I still have, like, friends that knew him. And actually, Hexy, my current girlfriend, dated him as well. So I know all this extra stuff about him I never really wanted to know. We actually broke up because I cheated on him. Turned into a really extra bad person after this, so just a heads up. I drew him as a demon because it just fits. He was very self-centered. I assume he still is today. Very cruel sometimes. And Hexy thinks it fits, so it works for me too. And here we have Levi. I cheated on Doug with Levi. And Levi kind of encouraged it. Not saying it was the best situation at all. I met him on Gaia Online ages ago. And Levi and I were actually, this is going to sound stupid, but we were strangely unique. How? Well, for starters, we had the same birthday. It was really insane. He was the other side of me. He was the other half of my Gemini. Because I'm a Gemini. We were the twins. Anyway. So the only thing is that he was the negative side of me, if anything. He encouraged really bad habits, taught me a lot of bad things, and he was super critical of other people, and it spilled into me, which kind of sucked. And I still kind of carry some of that with me today. I am doing so much better, but it got really out of hand. I had some of the worst and best experiences in my life with him. I tried to get back with him because we were at a convention and he was crying and I was weak and we just got together again. It was so romantic, and then a week later we broke up again. It was fun while it lasted. We never had a really dull moment. Bedroom time was fun. But that's kind of it. Like, he was just fun for certain reasons, and apparently he agrees with me, because I talked to him ages ago and he's like, oh yeah, I would have fun with you again. I'm like, oh, I don't know how that made me feel, but that's what I feel about Levi. I drew him as, I'm not gonna say a furry, even though, yeah, okay, I'm a furry, we were furries. More of like a Neko, like a really overly sexualized cat person. I don't know how to describe what I feel with this one. That's what he reminds me of. Regardless of his actual persona at the time, it was a cat, but he just reminds me of what I drew. Really over-sexual, somebody really enticing, but at the same time, you're kind of like, this is probably going to end up being a bad idea, one way or another. After Levi, I kind of fell into Rick. He was in town, and at first it was going to be a BDSM situation with him being my master. However, I was not in a great mental state for this, and he did not help at all because he wasn't very knowledgeable and took advantage of that, in my opinion. I'm not gonna say, oh, it was rape. No, nothing like that. But needless to say, we dropped the master part and just got together. And this relationship was a train wreck. He would drag me around with his friends. I went to my first bar. I was of age, so, yeah, I was way of age, like 23, but I never really wanted to go to bars, but I just kept going with him, and I smoked weird things, nothing too crazy, but we mostly drank a lot. He and his friends also stole things a lot, or as he called it, exploiting their security systems, and I didn't approve of that, but I was too scared to get past it, so we were still together. That aside, our last moments were a week-long cruise with his family, who I loved. If I could just keep the family, I would have. I spent the majority of my time on this cruise alone. Another lovely theme. When we were together, though, it felt like I was a chore, unless somebody was standing around to watch us, and then he was a huge showman. He loved me so much. And directly after the cruise, I had an anime convention to go onto with him, with his friends who misspelt my name on my badge. Great. I was the stuff holder. I got to watch him cosplay and cart around his stuff. But the very last straw was one night I was having a horrible time at the anime convention, and he saw me curled up and crying and did nothing to help me. I just cried myself to sleep. And then days after that, I was just done. I'm like, no. Fun fact, though, about Rick, I almost married him. I've had these like little instances before where it was in talks. There was one time where I got a ring from somebody. He wasn't long enough for me to really put in this video, but it happened. But I actually got a cheap-ass ring from Spencer's, which, whatever, it doesn't matter where you get the ring. And I'm not into diamonds and stuff like that, but it was still kind of symbolic, right? And a dress that my mom won't let me get rid of. And we even have the giant cake pans from when we were going to make our own cake. And I think we even have like some decorations. I didn't plan that far, but we definitely planned. I just want to burn it all. I'm so done with it. So I drew him as kind of a shapeshifter. He's really creepy. In my art rendition. It was to show physically, I suppose, how he felt to me. After that, though, I was really promiscuous. I didn't really know who I was. He really messed me up. After Levi and after my next one, Rick, I have so many regrets. I don't even remember the names, some of them. One, I won't give a name. That was one I was almost married to. And that one, I spent like 3 days together with him. He was rich and my parents liked him. We didn't click. It was like dry toast. But he was a friend for years. It just kind of ended badly. And yeah, I went through a weird phase of like discovering who I was, what I wanted to do with myself. Spent some time single, quote unquote, and it was good for me, bad for me. It just was. It was a time, It was what it was. And I needed the experience, but sometimes it hurts. Sorry to the people I've hurt, but that's how it ended with that. And then here we are. During my stint with Rick, I found Hexie again. Didn't cheat, though, because she wouldn't let me. Our story is a huge story that I'll do another video about. Long ass story short, though. We're together. Been together for 8 years, coming up on 9 this year. And I hope our story never ends. Oh my god, so cheesy. So how'd you like it? What was your favorite? I I have my own favorites in this, especially with my drawings, but I want to know what you think. So comment below, let me know. Are there any of your exes that you consider demons, vampires, angels? Let me know. I'm curious. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video then. Thanks for watching.